tutorial on tools. This one's all about the changing and retouching the image. I'm going to start off with the eyedropper tool. As the name suggests, it samples colors from an image that you choose. So I just select it right now, and I'm going to select a sort of darker color just here, and you can see now it's down on the bottom there. And I've selected that one because I want to show you also the paintbrush tool. So I just select the paintbrush. Now don't forget, on the channel, the order up the top, you can actually amend how thick the brush is and the opacity of it and all that sort of thing. I'm going to go with 50 or something like that. That's fine. And now what I would like to do next is I'm going to darken this background here so it highlights more of this picture just here. So I can just darken on like that, and I am literally just painting on the darkness quite roughly, and we are now more drawn to our character in the left hand side. There you go, so there we go, that's looking pretty good. I'm just brushing, as you can see, and that very quickly has darkened up the background, emphasizing him more. And I did that onto the actual BAFTA background one. Okay, so let's just undo that one there. Oh, there we go, all undone. Next, let's go to the next image just here, and we're going to use the spot healing brush because I want to basically touch up the model's face here so that any blemishes in there are not so obvious. She hasn't got very many, so just very quickly I want to take out a few of these areas just here. So let's just go down to the spot healing brush, and again I can select how sensitive the brush is. I can also say whether it's contact aware or proximity aware. Contact aware I will do for this one, and I have to make sure I've selected the correct layer to do this. Now I just want to take out a few of these, so I just go smoothly over like that, just like that, and as you can see I'm just taking out the odd slight blemish there. And if you find you haven't quite, or you've done too much, let's try that one, really extreme one. There you go, you see I've just done a line across there and it's content aware, so it's not quite right because of the brush stroke that I chose, the direction of it. Let's just undo that one. Whereas if I wanted to do just down there, there you go, smoothing over quite nicely. Yeah. Now you can do it as a brush, or you can actually do it as a spot to just slightly take out the odd blemish, like that, and like that, and like that. There you go. So that's a fantastic tool right there, so don't forget that one. And now we'll go on to the clone tool. Let's just go into the example that that comes with the actual package. Let's go down to it. The clone tool is very cool, and it, as it says, it paints with pixels for another part of the image, from another part of the image. So we're just going to do that now. So I select it now, and I have to press on the keyboard Alt so that it's activated, and now I can quickly clone the image, and basically I'm cloning it and moving, in this case, just the image over a smidge. Quite nicely, quite quickly, and that is the clone tool. Quickly going, as you can see. Now, only problem with the clone tool, as you can see, I've done it 4 times, and it's cloned the whole of everything over there as I've moved over this item each time, you see. But clone tool, if used correctly, can be really, really useful. There you go. So that's the clone tool there. Now the next one to that is your history brush. So if you wanted to, you could go back in the history brush and actually amend anything that you've done in there. Sort of the same as using the history brush just up there. And what's the next one? Right, oh yes, there we go. Let's go for this one. The next one below that is the eraser tool, which can be pretty destructive. Make sure you've selected the layer that you wish to erase a certain item. And in this case, let's just go and choose it. There we go. In this case, I can actually change, of course, how thick the brush is that I'm using. If it's a brush, the opacity of it. Let's change the opacity down a smidge. And then the flow and everything. Yep, you can change all of these. Now, I'm just taking out that part right there. Now, if I had a color or something, or a layer underneath this one, it would be showing up just there. So, but I haven't in this case. But as you can see, it's quite destructive, and you could quite easily make a real mess of things. But this is the eraser tool, so I'm just erasing things along the way. So we just take things, oh, that's the wrong layer, isn't it? Sorry. There you go, so that's the eraser tool. Now, I think you all have used this one before, and this one is the fill or the paint bucket tool or the gradient tool. Let's just remind you all, if I choose a colour I would like to change the colour of, this is a reminder for those, let's go for a bluey, oh well, I quite like the green one, don't I? Yeah, that's quite good. Let's go for that one, select that colour, then choose my paintbrush and literally dock, and then move that below my image. There we go, and then suddenly we've got that blue. Oh, I forgot to sort that one out. That's not very good, is it? Look at that. Okay, so I can also change that to the gradient tool. Now this one you have to select outside of the box and then select outside of the box the other way, thus giving a coloured, gradiated colour effect going across the image, which I think is very nice. Now, what's interesting is if you click nearer to the image and then drag further away, it will be a darker image here going and pushing the white further away, whereas if I went that way and made it exactly the same, you'll see that it's more even across the board. Okay, now the next one is very handy, is the blur tool. Now if I just click onto that one, as the name suggests, I can blur parts of the image. I'm still on my BAFTA background here, so I'm going to click onto that, and I just want to blur him a little bit. So let's just do that, and as you can see, I am blurring just that bit of image there again, making sure that the viewer is looking at him, and I could easily change that if I wanted to as well. Very handy as well. Now the dodge tool. The dodge tool is very handy to change the colouring onto an item as well. So let's just use that one, and because I have a colour already done, it's doing it nicely and it's dodging in, doing a cracking job. Right, there you go. That's the tools I'm just going to go through.